Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday. Here it is, about 10 till 8. I already got a friggin' headache. And no, it's not because I'm hungover. That was the other day. The reason I got a headache is just from way too much thinking about choppers in the last couple of days, and it started off early this morning. So we're debating whether to get rid of my machine to upgrade it. We know we got a few issues with it. McPherson has a really low-hourred one that's actually a really nice upgrade. It's amazing what they friggin' cost now for a used machine. What's up, Cam? But then, after I thought we had kind of decided on that one, Tuna just stopped me and he goes, "What about Klaus?" I go, "What about Klaus? You didn't like the chop whenever we demoed the one 2 years ago." And I can tell his head's spinning, so I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. It's giving me a headache. But right now, well, I still think about that in the back of my mind. I am headed out east town where I marked the other day to go see if it is dry enough for us to plant hay. God, that's a terrifying thought. Plant hay. It's looking dry enough. Moisture's right there underneath the ground. The biggest worry is smashing these marks down too much to where they don't do anything. But at the same time, you want to get in here and take advantage of the moisture while you got it. So I think I'm going to go get the planter. Hopefully it works. First thing I gotta do, take the 195 here, go drop this little guy off and hook up the 20-footer because it's been rebuilt. So if you remember from one of the previous videos, I don't know, 2-3 videos ago, Bart was planting hay and the gearbox let go on that 20-foot drill. Got it to the shop, had one overnighted, but it was coming too late. That's why we hooked up this drill so that we could beat the rain. Gearbox showed up 2 days later. Still had to pay overnight price, but you know, didn't get overnight service. Whatever. It's becoming more and more of a thing anymore, isn't it? Either way, we got that gearbox put on, stripped the old one down to see what the problem was, and it's a brass bushing in there. And we went, you know what? If this one was bad, I'll bet the other one is really close. So we ordered a gearbox for the other side. So one thing I don't like about that planter is it's dual drive instead of single drive, so you got to watch both sides rather than just, okay, it's spinning, all systems go. Got the other gearbox on, got it moved out of the shop, so it is ready to go. The only question is it putting on the right amount of seed? She's hooked up, got 4 bags of seed in, so 200 pounds, should be able to plant 10 acres. Mainly just do an acre check, because we've never planted alfalfa with this drill. We don't know for sure on the meter settings, because it's not like a corn planter where you got that single seed going. It's just a big drill where you got the cup spinning, dropping seed down the tube. You got zero way to monitor it other than doing random checks. So I'm gonna plant about 10 acres, hopefully be basically out, then we know it's dialed in. Now to get this thing back through town. This is by far the most terrifying job on the farm. So there's how you adjust your slot width for the seed to fall through. This is your gearbox that runs everything. That's what crapped the bed on us. So it's ground driven, driving that pulley. That comes into the gearbox, it does its reductions for the different seed rates, sends the drive, boom, turns the cups. Now, seed depth is a mystery to me on this one. I hear anywhere from like 3/8 to 1/2 inch, and the seed is so dang tiny. About the only way you can see it is looking in there, and we replaced all the little rubber seed holders, so you really can't even see the seed. So you have to go by the look more than anything, and that sucks. I think depth is all right. I hope. We're planting into good moisture with potential of irrigating this right away, so that really helps. The worry part, mud sticking to these wheels. because those are the press wheels that make sure the ground is solid over the seed. You get mud on those, it kind of lifts them a little bit, and then those in turn lift your seed disc a little bit, and you don't plant near as deep as you think you are. Let's see. Can you see the tiny little seeds in there? I think that's an old feed seed next to it. Yeah, I can see it in a couple of these. God dang, tough magnet. But that's the seed. The reason it's colored like that is because it is Roundup ready. Why is it Roundup ready? We have a problem with grass on this farm, so we need a way to control the grass. Roundup it is. Let's talk about why planting alfalfa makes me so nervous. Number one, biggest reason, cost. Roundup ready alfalfa, $8 a pound. 20 pounds to the acre, $160 an acre in seed alone. Just the seed. Now, those of you that think corn is expensive, it's $300 a bag. You get about 2.5 to the acre. Do the math. This is more expensive. Second reason it makes me nervous, seed placement. As I was saying, it is very easy to put it too deep. It can't push up, doesn't emerge, dies. Plant it too shallow, it dries up after it germinates, dies. Both of which lead to an instant failure in the field. Remember, alfalfa isn't federally insured the way corn, beans, stuff like that are. There is really no insurance on this, so you screw this up, you're just out the money. And probably the biggest worry, if you screw up the stand and say you get a half stand of alfalfa, by the time you realize you need to reseed it, it may be too late to come in and add more seed to it. Alfalfa will put off an autotoxicity to where if you come in and try and plant new alfalfa in, the established alfalfa won't let it get started. It'll choke it out. So it's a mind-numbingly delicate process. It's real simple to do. Look at that. I'm just sitting here letting the GPS do its thing, watching the chains down there in the corner just barely move, and that one just barely moving. I'm going to be most of the day just sitting here going back and forth. That part is simple, but it makes me so damn nervous wanting to know if I've got that set just right. Made it to a little over 8 acres. There's still a little bit of seed left, so I know we're really close. Had my wife, when she brought me lunch, trying to get the pig up. Rest of seed. Let's get this dumped in. On the plus side, I shouldn't have to get out and check seed for a while. Let's just hope I'm right. So there's what the seed looks like. Little tiny guys. Let's get this done. It's afternoon and I've planted like 9 acres or 8 acres. It's getting ridiculous. First 25 acres are done. Now I'm on this little 10-acre patch. It'll be kind of nice to get this one put back into alfalfa because of that power line. Whoa, turn around. That power line right there. It is way too low for the chopper spout, so it always gets kind of sketchy how to cut underneath it. And this tiny little field, it's just a pain to cut. Downside is this tiny little field, it's a pain to get equipment in and out of, period. So I don't know, we might have to get a little more creative how we get all the bales out of here, because this little piece of dirt is really good, so it'll produce quite a few bales. And normally we take everything up that bank right there next to the bridge, and that kind of sucks. So I don't know, maybe we'll try and get a little more creative this time. Took most of the day, but 35 acres of new alfalfa is now seeded. Let's go home. Back to where the day started. Tractor's in the shed, but my pickup is still at the field, so looks like more exercise today. Thank you, Pinchy. Oh, this pickup is hot. Look at those rows. Almost kind of sort of straight. Definitely wasn't expecting that driving around tonight. Valley Guy's got the crash pivot truly lined up. A little bit of curve in it, but that'll happen. And it's moved quite a ways, so see a lot of hose laying around. Looks like they're fixing hoses. That guy should be ready to go for water here in a couple of days, which will be very handy. Let's take a quick second and talk about the part of the operation I haven't been around in quite a while. So the cattle herd. Again, we are a stocker backgrounder, as they qualify it. Buy them at 500 pounds, sell them at 800-ish. We've moved a lot of cattle in the last month. As the weather has kind of straightened out, the cattle have straightened out with it, gaining better. The wild temperature swings are stressful on cattle, just like humans. So as the weather's kind of calmed down a little bit, so have the cattle. But as spring moves forward, the sales become smaller and smaller just because there's not a lot of yearlings to sell that time of year. Spring and fall is when the big sales are. Summer, they're pretty small and slim pickings. So it's become harder and harder, as it is every year, to refill the pens. But for us, that works in our favor because, well, here in a couple of weeks, it's going to be time for spring harvest, then haying season, and then fall harvest. And about the time fall harvest winds up, it's time for the cattle sales to pick up with all the new yearlings coming up to market. Kind of a cool sight, the sun starting to set there behind the grain bins. But anyways, with the natural process of more going out than coming in this time of year, it lets the cattle crew kind of take care of this a little bit easier, lets the rest of us start on the field work, and then here in no time at all these trucks, it'll be go time. Traditionally, right now, we are about 3 weeks away from spring harvest. As you can see, we got some trailers need attention because they're still set up for manure. Got a lot of trucks, a little bit of fine tweaking and tuning, get them ready for harvest along with their trailers. We've got the random jobs of hauling gravel and silage to neighbors and moving bales. We got to get all that stuff finished up, because soon enough, it'll be go time. Catch you guys in the next one.